Welcome to this edition of Dufferin Life. I'm your host, Teena Avery. Thank you so much for tuning in. So we have a gentleman coming on the show. You may or may not know who he is. He may or may not have been here, I don't know, a million times. David Nairn, Artistic Director for Theatre Orangeville. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Hi, Tina. The use of the word gentleman, I don't know, but there's a lot of people out there in Rogers Land who are going, no, that can't be the same guy.
Of course. How are you doing?
I'm really well. How are you? We're excited about another new show opening at the theater. And
yeah, absolutely.
It's always great. It's always exciting.
All right, well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So what's it's coming up this week. What's happening?
It's called Bed and Breakfast.
Okay.
And it's written by Mark Crawford. So
Amazing.
You know Mark,
yes.
I think. And Mark wrote, we've done a number of his plays. The last one we did, I guess, was The New Canadian Curling Club, which was a huge, massive hit. Mark has such an amazing, he's so funny and so, he's a small town guy out near Wingham. Raised on a farm, and so he really understands the sensibility of living in a community and all the weird and wacky and wonderful characters that go to make up a community like our own and things like that. So yeah, it's a very, very funny story. It's the story of two young men in Toronto who, through a series of happenstance, wind up inheriting a house.
Okay.
An old century home in a not unlike perhaps Dufferin kind of community. So they come to a small town, sort of bringing all that Toronto baggage and sensibility and attitude about moving to a community like ours. Not that anybody here ever has that kind of attitude when they
No.
move out from the city. And so it's around discovering home and the concept of what it is to move into a community. One of them, Brett, the character who inherits the house, had sort of spent all of his summers in this small town and in a community like ours, and so in his heart somewhere has a love for it, and so it's about acceptance. It's about understanding of different ways, different kind of relationships and things like that. So, but it's very funny, very heartfelt. Audiences are really, really going to love it. Yeah. And as always, Mark, he's just such a terrific playwright.
He is. I think the first show I ever seen that Mark did was Stag and Doe.
We've done Stag and Doe.
Yeah.
We've done.
There's so many.
We've done this is like our fifth. Or he came up and did his one-man show, of course, when we were in the tent during COVID. Chase the Ace. So this is, I think, the fifth or sixth of his shows that we've done.
And they are tremendously funny. I mean, he has somewhat of a dry sense of humor, but yet not. There's so many things that you just like, I never would have thought. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just those things like,
I know,
are you kidding me? Like,
it's really that understanding. He really, really nails the foibles of what it is to live in a community not unlike ours.
Right.
Yes. Pick anywhere in Dufferin County, of that sensibility, that kind of urban, rural kind of sensibility, and really being in one moment to have you laughing tears of joy about it, and the next minute you might have a tear because it just really zings you, really zings your heart, pulls your heartstrings. And that's, to me, that's what great writing is. That's what great storytelling is. And that's why, we've had such great success with his plays, and they really speak to who we are here in Dufferin.
They certainly do. So, David, I was out at Mochaberry, and I got my lovely tea that's here. And oh my goodness, look at the sleeves.
I know, isn't it incredible?
That is
we
awesome.
started doing this back in the fall with Tip of the Iceberg, and then we did it with Sleeping Beauty. We're doing it for the entire season. And Troy and all the fabulous staff over at Mochaberry have been super supportive. And it's such a wonderful thing. There's a QR code on it. You can
I spun it around. I'm like, see, you could scan this right now if you're watching. But you're going to get all the details
can you?
for the
I don't
show.
understand the tech.
So I mean, you definitely can, and I think this is a great idea. Well, if you've been to Mochaberry and you've got one of these sleeves, and in the past any of the shows and you haven't scanned them, why not? Like, scan it and find out what's going on.
Yeah, and because of course with it being a QR code, we can we know how many people are using it, and we have posters up all over Dufferin County, and we're getting more hits off of this QR code than we are for it because we put QR codes on all of our posters and everything else.
Well, I'm just saying, you've got opening night coming up, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but I'm just saying, go get yourself a coffee, get yourself a sleeve, bring it, have some of the actors sign it. I don't know, I'm just saying, it could be a collector's item.
Yeah, and we're now serving mocha berry coffee at the theater.
Oh,
so
there you go.
It's always a great. It's about community partnerships. That's what Dufferin County is all about.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and we live in a great community that it is.
The best.
Okay, so opening night is always a special occasion, but this particular one is even more special.
Well, we have our Starlight Gala, which is on the Thursday, the 13th. The official opening is on the 14th. That's when, the critics and, the official. But on the 13th, Jennifer Stewart, who is the incoming artist, she's the associate artistic director, and as of July 1st, she becomes the artistic director. And so the opening night of Bed and Breakfast, or the Starlight Gala of Bed and Breakfast, Jen is going to stand on a chair and announce next season's playbill, which is super exciting.
That is very exciting. That was always one of my favorite nights, was to see the banners drop. And if you've never been, please go. And the Starlight Gala is amazing. There's phenomenal restaurants, and if you've only got a few days. I don't know if there's tickets left, but go online and check it out at www.theaterorangeville.ca. See what you can find out. But
we've got great restaurants.
Yes.
Craft, Bluebird, Rustic, Revival. Yeah, they're all great partners. So.
Yeah. So you get to go out, you buy your ticket, you enjoy dinner, and then you go to the theater. You see this big announcement. I believe there's dessert involved. There's always dessert involved.
There's always
somewhere.
dessert involved. Always dessert and coffee before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
then you go to see the show, which is great. Yeah. So, is this a world premiere?
No, it's not.
Okay.
The play has been around for actually quite some time. Mark wrote it originally for himself and his partner, and I don't know. The play has been around for at least 10 years.
Okay.
It's been on my list for at least 10 years to be doing it here, and somehow it always just, I don't know. It's always around trying to balance the numbers and all that kind of nonsense. But here we are, and it's finally here, and we're very excited. Mark will be there for the opening night and all the hoopla.
And I can't believe we're already at Starlight Gala time. The time is going by so quickly.
I know. We're past the halfway point now. The Beaver Club was a huge success, the last show that we did, and audiences are still raving about that. So the whole season is, so far, knock on wood, has been very, very positive. Audiences are coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes time to rebuild all of that after
it does,
such
it totally
a big
does.
change that we had several years ago now.
It seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
It does.
It seems like it's like
certainly does.
other kind of worldly, almost in its own weird way. But audiences are still. It's about what it was people's habits changed. We got out of the habit of going out to eat as often as we do. Look, everybody's. So it's just a case of reminding people about what a great time it is, and they come back and they go, "Oh my gosh, yeah, why did we miss this for the last, whatever?" Anyways, they're back, so that's good.
And you've got a couple more shows left in the season?
We've still, after Bed and Breakfast, and the final show of the season is I'm in Love with Your Sister.
Okay.
Which is a world premiere, written by Norm Foster.
Okay.
Which is always fun to have Norm around, and and it's always a great thrill and a privilege and an honor, really, to be doing the premiere. So we've done some workshops on it. Norm's been doing a little bit of tinkering and rewriting here and there. We've got a great cast, and that's going to be a wonderful way to end the season and kick off into the summer and all the great stuff we've got with the young companies and
so
all
many
that
things.
Stuff. Oh, there's all. We never stop.
No,
we
you don't.
never stop. We go 24/7, 12 months of the year. There's always something exciting going on.
Yes. So let's talk about stopping. That was a good segue into it. So, July. What does David Nairn do in July?
Well, what's happening? I don't know. When they show me the door, this has been in progress for a year and a half.
Yes.
I informed my board about a year and a half ago that I thought that it was time. It's not about health. It's all on my terms. It's just, we're getting we're getting a younger demographic coming in, first-time ticket buyers. Like, those numbers are off the chart, and so it just felt like it was the right time for new growth, for the company to move forward in a new way, and Jennifer's fabulous. She's in the process of moving into the community and really already embracing it so much. Yeah, I'm going to be sticking around a little bit. As of July 1st, I will become Artistic Director Emeritus, which means, I think it just kind of means cranky old man sitting in the corner yelling at everyone. No, because Jennifer's new to the position of Artistic Director, and she's also new to the community. So I want to make sure that just kind of mentoring and advising and helping that sort of transition. We always say at Theatre Orangeville that everybody gets one turn around the sun before you have to experience the whole cycle of what life at Theatre Orangeville is, right, in terms of fundraisers and events and young companies and all that stuff. So I'm just going to be there as a resource. It's going to be an opportunity for me to work on a couple of projects that we've never really had the time. Our creative partners on stage, the work that we do with Community Living Dufferin, we really want to we've talked for years about taking that to the next level. Yes. Putting it on a provincial and a national scale. So that's one of the projects that I'm part-time, but that's one of the things that I'm going to be working for Jennifer and Sharon Aliff, our executive director, working for them on those kind of projects. So I'll still be around. You don't get rid of me that easily.
I would think not. I mean, I'm like, what will I do without David and Aaron coming on my show?
What will we do for making cocktails at Christmas time?
Well, I mean, you don't have to be the artistic director to make cocktails with me at Christmas time, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about it. I'm really, I've got plans for work into beyond that and some other directing projects beyond, and so that's really cool. Lisa, we're going to travel.
I was going to say, so like a little relaxation in there, yes?
Yeah, well, I'm probably it's going to take me 6 months just to download all the Theatre Orangeville stuff off my laptop on how to figure out how to do all. No, it'll be great to still be involved. It's great to still be a member of the community. On a personal level, I'm hoping to be able to do some more volunteer work, or some. I've never really been able to do that, make that kind of contribution to the community, because, so if there's anybody out there, if you're looking for volunteers, give me a shout. We've been so involved with the food bank and support, and to help wherever I can in the community. It's been, as you know, or as you may assume, working in the not-for-profit, it's a 24/7 job.
Yes.
So it's really not, I just have never had the time. So now I hope to be able to make a contribution to the community in other ways. We have no plans to leave the community or anything like that. So to still sort of, hang out. Maybe I'll start a show on Rogers.
You know what? He gets me every time. He jumps ahead, and I'm like, why not?
Why not? Why don't we tag team this? There's a big couch. We can put a guest in the middle.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. David, thank you so much for joining us. You. And don't you guys go anywhere. We'll be right back.
That wasn't 15 minutes, was it?
No, it was 13 and a half.
Or whatever 14, it is.
Yeah.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
After a night out with your friends, not having a plan for a safe ride home can leave you in a bad spot. You could end up riding in a police car, an ambulance, or a hearse. These unplanned modes of transportation can be a costly choice and do not take you home. Your plan could include a designated driver, a taxi, or public transit. Drink responsibly, choose your ride, and have a plan for a safe ride home.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
Welcome back. If you're still with us, thanks so much for tuning in with us and staying with us. And if you're just tuning in now, as always, it's a great time. Do you know how I'm feeling? Do you know how I'm thinking? Do you know what I'm thinking about? Do you know how I'm feeling? Can you see my aura? I don't know. I can't. But my lovely guest joining me, Lily, is going to tell us all about what's coming up with the Orangeville Psychic and Crystal Fair. Thank you so much for joining me, Lily.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. Yeah, the Orangeville Psychic and Crystal Fair is going to come to the Best Western, and it's going to start on Friday, March the 14th at 2 p.m.
Okay.
And it's going to go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's just amazing. Kids are free that are under 12, and we have everything. We have readers, we have psychic mediums, we have crystal vendors, singing bowls, it's beads.
Yeah.
It's extensive, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so this is coming up, and I mean, I was not making fun at the beginning. I'm just like, because people know things and I don't know anything. So I've readily admitted that on the show many, many times before. So let's talk about the Psychic and Crystal Fair. Like, let's. Why is something like this important to the community?
It's important because it just lets people just come out and use their intuition. If their intuition is usually just that little feeling you have in your gut that you usually find out when you ignore it, you know, like, oh, I should have checked the air in my tire, and then you have a flat tire. But you had a feeling to do it that morning and you didn't. That's your intuition.
Oh, yeah.
So it's more just learning how to get in touch with that if you're interested in a psychic reading, and it's guidance, you know, it's interesting for sure. It just opens you up to new possibilities.
And I think that's important too, because we've talked about. I've had people on the show before, and we've talked about it, because there are people that are skeptics, and they're just like, well, that show is not for me because I don't necessarily believe in what's going on there. And everybody has the right to their opinion, of course. But what would you say to somebody that is skeptical about it, and what would you say to them to convince them to come to the show?
I really love skeptics because I don't do anything except do what I normally do, and neither do any of the other readers. And they come back and they say, whoa, this person knew exactly what was going on in my life 2 years ago. How did they know that? Well, they knew it because they're trained that way to work on it, you know, to read the aura, like you said at the beginning.
Well, yes, I mean, I'm not sure what my aura is saying to you right now. Could be saying, get some sleep, you're a little tired. You know, no. Anyways, I mean, I jest, but I mean, it is true. Like, I mean, I will admit that to a certain degree I'm skeptical. I've opened kind of my mind to different possibilities over the past 4 years of my life.
Yes.
Just because, and you know, it is a shame in a way, because sometimes it's an event that happens in your life that makes you need to reach out for something more.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
To find something just to kind of hold on to, or just to give you that little bit of hope, or just that feeling of comfort, whatever it happens to be. So there are a lot of people that feel that way. And I mean, my sister is, I make jokes, and she's probably, when she sees it, she'll kill me. I call it her woo-woo thing. Like, she's very into everything, and you know, she does a lot of things. She actually used to have a show here that kind of dealt with psychics, and you know, and she's had voodoo people, and you know, like all these different types of things on her show. And I was always like, I'm not sure. But I think if you've never been to the show, you should go. Because it's not, you don't have to visit every person, have a reading, have like what, all those types of things. You can do what calls to you, right?
Exactly, absolutely do what calls to you. And even what you were talking about, voodoo people, that is something completely separate.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
people tend to lump everything in one, and
Yes.
it's not.
Yeah.
You know, you don't go to Baskin Robbins and get all, what is it, 32
Pizza?
pizza or all 32 flavors on one cone.
Yes, yeah.
It just doesn't, it'll never work that way.
Mm-hmm.
So we always say at the show to go to who you're drawn to go around, collect people's mail, we call it mail, which is their business cards, and
Mm-hmm.
then people can check you out on the cell phone and go to who they're drawn to. And I always tell them to trust their gut.
Yes.
You know, like they say how your stomach is your first brain, it actually is, even for your intuition, I find.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then they're not looking at what someone's saying, they're listening to their own body.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? I just realized for the first time in like 2 weeks, and I always have them on my show. I'm not wearing my.
You're not wearing your bracelet.
I'm not wearing my bracelet. But so let's talk a little. Let's go a little bit more into depth about some of the people that will be there and some of the things that people. I know you mentioned them briefly, but let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sometimes we have, every time it's different depending on if people can get time off work, because we're Friday, Saturday to Sunday, but we generally have Tibetan singing bowls. Sometimes we'll have pyramids that help with grounding, which is through copper. It's all, there's the beads, and there's crystals, there's raw crystals, there's stones, there's jewelry, there's gemstones. You can get any kind of Mother's Day present, you know, anything.
It's a
if
great
you're thinking
thing. Yeah,
ahead,
great idea. Yeah.
right? Yeah, I always think that person that's hard to shop for is someone you can shop for at the Psychic and Crystal Fair, because everything is unique.
Yes. Yeah.
Every vendor is unique.
Yeah.
Every reader is unique, right? Yeah.
So you're a reader, yes?
Yes.
Oh, so tell me a little bit about the types of readings that you do.
So how I do my readings is I close my eyes because I don't want to look at the person's face, because it keeps, honestly, my ego out of it.
Okay.
Okay, and then I can't see what they're doing, but I can see the pictures that are coming into my mind about their life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it absolutely removes me, the person, from the situation.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just go through, and then we'll get to a point where I'll say, "Does that resonate?" And they say yes, or they'll go as I'm saying it, because my eyes are closed. And then I might open my eyes and write some things down for them, and they get to take that. And
Okay.
yeah, generally there'll be a couple family members standing behind them if they come through that are in spirit. And if not, I do it on a name frequency, first name only. 'Cause
Okay.
I have a frequency, you have a frequency, and your TV show has a frequency, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to draw people.
That's really, really
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
I've seen something that I wanted to ask you about, because I'm like super curious about many more things than what I used to be. Past life readings.
Oh, yes. Okay, so past life readings are so fun because, again, I close my eyes, I watch for the pictures to come in, and say I'll see that somebody was on a boat, you know, in the ocean, and this is the 1800s, and somebody picked them up and threw them off the boat. Okay, then you find out that it was their brother, which is their brother in this life, and they don't talk to their brother, and they've always had a very rough relationship. So they're like, that makes perfect sense that my brother would just side rail me.
Oh.
You know?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Or it could go positive,
Yeah.
where they marry their husband in that life, past life and this life, and they've had 5 arguments they can count on one hand.
Okay.
So it's all encompassing, and it always seems to be what's going on in their present life for right now when they're with the reading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought about doing like a past life reading or anything like that, but yeah.
Yes,
So-
it's neat. It's neat because I have no idea what's going on in their life, right? And there's different readers that do it different ways if they do that. Some of them might use cards, some of them might not.
Okay.
But again, go to who you're drawn to for the Psychic and Crystal show, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's why there's such a large variety, and there's someone for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's like beautiful jewelry there. Like, I mean, I've been to it a couple times.
Yes,
So, yeah.
yes.
There's a lot of people there to kind of speak to. And then if you don't even know where to begin, just walk in.
And your wristband, if you come, say, Friday, if you're able to come Friday, your wristband that you get is good for that whole weekend.
Oh, wow.
So you
okay.
don't have to rush or feel overwhelmed. You can take it all in on Friday and come back on Saturday.
Well, I mean, that's a great idea, too, because, I mean, sometimes people may be drawn to somebody, but they're in the midst of doing a reading with somebody else waiting, and you don't want to come back. And, you know, the idea of being able to kind of come all weekend and just take your time and, you know, you might see something and go, oh, maybe I want to try that.
Yeah. I know at the last show that we were at, there was a skull, like a crystal skull that has a ruby inside of it that you could only see with a flashlight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm keeping it in the back of my mind. My mantra is I do all my eye shopping. Like I eye shop, and then if they're still there on Sunday, it's mine.
Well, you better get there before Sunday.
You better get, yeah.
Or Lily's going to get everything. Yeah.
If I could, I would.
So let's talk about some of the other things that you do.
So, okay, I also do quantum hypnosis. I was trained under the late Dolores Cannon. I was the guinea pig for the class, and I was hypnotized in front of all 29 people. And you get to go through your past life regression that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm not sure. Okay, that you may find a skeptic on that one.
That's
the
okay.
Hypnosis thing is just, it does boggle the mind, like that. Yeah.
There's different stages of hypnosis.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're driving down the 401, you miss your exit, or you had all intentions, you know where your exit is. You missed your exit because your mind is in a state of hypnosis.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the very first,
basic,
that's the chicken on the stage hypnosis.
Okay.
Okay. And Dolores Cannon's is the somnambulistic level at the bottom of the iceberg. There's 90% of the iceberg under the water.
Okay.
So yeah, I was trained in that.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That sounds super interesting.
Yes. And I'm also a Teramai Reiki master.
Okay.
So I can teach Reiki levels 1 to 3. And Reiki is just beautiful. It's easy life force energy that flows through all living things.
Okay.
And pets love Reiki.
Oh, really?
But I always think pets don't have an ego.
Okay.
Right? So the dog is going to come to you because a dog has a sore leg, and then, take a nap because you're putting your healing hands on your dog. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
See, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I think my dog has an ego. He's
Cats
125 pounds of crazy, and my cat. Oh, I can't even go there. She's sassy as anything, and she's something. But I think they both have an ego. They all think they're all that in a bag of chips.
You know what? I'd have to agree with you on that. Maybe it's just they're more loving.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So tell me, how did you get how did you get into doing this?
How did I got involved after I had my son, because in all honesty, my story, I had to go to some postpartum classes, and there was a woman that came and she talked about Reiki, and I had no idea what it was. I just knew I had to know, and I had to go that night.
Yeah.
And my life has never been the same since that talk, and that was in 2001.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That was in 2001, and it was we had to wait a whole year before you could get your next level of Reiki, because you have to learn your lessons.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And you have to level up.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Very
how
interesting.
things happen in your life that
that make it all flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So here's what you need to know. You've got the Orangeville Psychic and Crystal Fair happening at the Orangeville Best Western out on Highway 10, Buena Vista Drive, if you turn the corner. Tell us again the dates.
It is March the 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Amazing. Lily, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
It was truly my pleasure, and thank you for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye for now. So we're still on screen, and I go, Teena's so home.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
This is a perfectly healthy child. What's unhealthy are birth alerts, a racist practice that may stop this Indigenous mother from going home with her newborn.